Woo, boy. I'm telling you, it's good to be back. We put some shows together with my producer, C. Clay. As I explained at the last one, we're going to be talking about a Vanzant, Fix My Life. She did a Fix My Life segment on a brother that's in Atlanta, Georgia. And he has 34 children by 17 different mothers. And that alone is just mind-boggling. So somebody need to be fixed there. Matter of fact, that's a whole bunch of fixing. You probably need about 5 psychiatrists working on that one. But it was some things that she did that, looking back on it, let me set the stage. Now, the man's mother and father, of course, they were young, like most of us. We have children young. It's not like we plan our kids. When they say 85% of black children are born out of wedlock, there ain't too much planning going on. And that's a major problem right there. But they had the young man young, and he dealt with some issues, and his mother was dealing with some issues, and she had to, she put him out the house and then stayed with his father a little while, and then the father put him out the house because he had got with another woman, and I guess the other woman really didn't care too much for the young man. And you know how it is. You have a baby, and look, if y'all don't stay together, you're going to be dealing with a whole bunch of issues. The man go find somebody else, and you might not like that, and then the man's new interest might not like your kid, and that's the drama that you deal with. Well, of course, before they broke up, they had some domestic violence issues, and it was pretty tough. Now, it was a certain scene in there. It was about 3 scenes. It's a 3-hour. She has 3 segments, as a matter of fact. Matter of fact, tonight, I believe, this is a Saturday, but if you go back on Saturday, the 27th of September, and look it up in your on-demand, that will be the episode where they do like a round table. They'll bring everybody back to discuss the 3 segments of Fix My Life, where they have about 5 of the wives. Well, not the wives, I'm sorry, 5 of the baby mothers. And they'll probably have the father and the mother and his sisters and some of the children to discuss the Fix My Life program. But one of the parts I was disturbed about, I like Vanzant, she's a good sister, but she has her issues as well. That's why I say we got to deal with the issues and be honest about them. She asked the father of this gentleman, did he ever hit his mother? And she knew they had fought, so yeah. So he was like, But he was trying to get her to understand it wasn't always like I was beating her. Sometimes we fought. So in other words, there probably was some time where he was provoked. And we all know, quick segue, Stephen A. Smith, he got thrown off the show for 2 weeks for just saying that a man should be able to defend himself when provoked. And then he had to get up and say that a man can never be provoked to hit a woman. So I don't know where that come from, but we all know that nobody should hit anyone. Men shouldn't hit men, women shouldn't hit women, women shouldn't hit men shouldn't hit women. But when somebody hits you, your automatic response is to defend yourself. So this idea that a man can't be provoked to hit a woman is crazy. And to buy into that, to me, as a psychologist or anybody else, is wrong. So, of course, Iyanla Vanzant, she had her abuse issues, so she's looking at it from the lens of being abused herself. So the man said, no, I didn't. Then he said, well, so she said, did you hit her? You hit her, didn't you? Pretty much saying, you know you did it. So he said, yeah, I hit her. So then he goes and said, apologize to the woman for hitting her. And you can see on his face, he like, kind of like with the Million Man March I talked about on one of my other segments. He kind of wants an apology as well. So he's like, well, it was some time when you hit me with a skillet and you scratched me and you came up from the back and hit me. So these two battled. So she was like, well, I'm like, I don't remember. So Iyanla Vanzant said, look, she entitled to have whatever feeling she want to have. We ain't talking about her. We talking about you. Deflecting whatever the man's feeling or whatever happened to him, that didn't count. So he said, yeah, I apologize for hitting you. Okay, that's fine. So then she brings the man in, the son, the one that has all the children, and asks the father, now tell your son that the first time you lied to him by saying you didn't hit her. It was just, no, tell him you lied. So he's all right, I lied. Now tell him you hit his mother. But the kid had already seen it, so he knew. I mean, it wasn't like this was a revelation. So he's like, I hit your mother. And the guy was hurt, he's like, well, I know what y'all went through. And he pretty much trying to make it like short shrift of it. Like, that's not really the problem. So, now mind you, his father went to Harvard now. Not saying that changed the dynamic a lot, but he's a college educated man. And his brother here, he ain't exactly Joe Schmo, so to speak. He know what he's talking about. Intelligent man. So he's the feelings he's having is, this woman is making me look like some kind of demon. And it's not like that. And I understand.
This is what horrifies me. Tell me what the hell was going on that a 15-year-old boy was loose in the street making decisions about where he was going to live. Because that is not his failing. That is your failing.
I agree with you 100%. Let me ask you.
Where were you? Where were you?
Jay, what year was it that my guns were missing?
Probably 1980.
Where were you?
Okay, I was really pissed when my licensed guns were stolen.
When Jay was 15 years old, he says he brought fellow gang members to his home. They ended up taking his father's guns.
And that's the point where I figure I can't trust him. How could he do this to me? How could my boy, my flesh and blood, do this to me? Right or wrong, I'm just putting in perspective how I went. And that was a sometime when I didn't give a damn about where you were. Didn't give a damn.
That don't make no sense to me though, because how could that? I mean, but I'm not trying to hear that because how could that?
Understand what he was feeling. So he's like, I'm gone. You didn't change the dynamic to make me the bad guy. So he wants to talk to Iyanla Vanzant. This was at the end of the first segment, to explain his side of the story. In other words, saying, look, Iyanla, his mother was no saint, She wasn't Mother Teresa. So she sits down and he was, well, can I, and she cuts him off immediately. No, this ain't about you. This is about your son. But how can it be about his son and not about him? The son is an extension of the father. So she blows him off. Then she goes to the son and tells the son, your father said he wants to leave you. In other words, kind of reinforcing that he ain't strong enough to stick it out and deal with all of this foolishness he's gonna have to deal with, because they're gonna just ride him hard. The poor brother's like, oh, he hurt. Of course he's gonna be hurt. Somebody just told you your father don't want to stick and stay with you. So of course he hurt, and she tell him, grow up, be a man, be 44, don't be 8. And that's how the first segment ends. So me and my wife talked about it. She was like, yeah, Iyanla was a little bit, she was off on that one. She was wrong. She should have allowed the man to have some say into his point and perspective of the situation. So to me, that was biased, that was wrong, and that was extremely gender biased. Okay, it was like the woman, never wrong. The man, you always wrong. So now, we're going to fast forward to the second segment, which you bring the kids in. Now, some of his kids were older, like in their 20s. Now, granted, you got 34 kids, okay? Ain't no way in heck you're going to be able to see all of them. My biggest problem is, wow, we ran out of time that quick. 2 minutes, folks. My biggest problem is this. Okay, I'm going to run through this. I don't care what you done been through as a child. You shouldn't disrespect adults, even if you're angry and hurt. And the kids talked to this man like he was nobody. They were just like, oh, yeah, you ain't no good. You wasn't never there. And I don't need you now. And I thought Iyanla Vanzant should have just sort of been the referee there and been like, this is your father. And let's show a little respect. Even though you're angry and hurt. But she said he wasn't allowed to what? To be angry about it because he had screwed up. So they could talk to him any way he wanted to. I thought that was wrong. Now we're going to talk about that other Iyanla Vanzant in another segment because I'm running out of time here. As always, these 10 minutes burn off fast. Got 2 books I done read here recently. Is Marriage for White People? I sure hope it ain't just for white folks. And I didn't work this hard just to get married. A sister, Nika Beeman, she got a lot of different celebrities and women as a powerful, is pretty much saying, what I need a man for? I'm good. What a battle. I love y'all folks out there. We're going to get to the next segment at some point. Hit me up, Mark, listen to you at gmail.com and tell me what you think about my suspenders and the program. I love y'all. Peace. C. Clay, I love you, baby. And I'm tired of racism. I'm out.